You name it, we've lived it.
And are living it.
Brits moving from the UK all the way to Australia with not a pot to piss in.
A whirlwind romance sparkled on Tinder.
3 months in, pregnant, starting 2 now successful businesses through COVID.
To another 2 new businesses post-COVID, whilst juggling 2 young, spirited children.
Living worldwide, travelling and pure hustle. We are nothing short of batshit crazy, but motivated as fuck. We are here to tell you our story,
inspire,
teach,
and probably scare the crap out of you.
Uncut, raw and real. Welcome to Business, Babies and Banter
with Henry
and Jade. Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Business, Babies and Banter. I'm Jade.
And I'm Henry.
And we've been waiting a really long time to do this podcast, honestly. We've just got back from Greece. We were there. We did our best. The Wi-Fi dropped out. Everything happened. I exchanged pum-pum, as Henry would call it, for the podcast recording. He was like, oh, and I did. And then we didn't record it anyway. So it was a total waste of an exchange, wasn't it?
I didn't see it as a waste.
So this is really all about episode 1 going to be how we came to Australia. Obviously, we're both from England and we have pretty wild lives and have had wild lives. Like everyone's always been saying you guys should write a book, and we thought a book takes a bit long and is a bit of effort. Maybe one day when I'm retired. But for now, we thought a podcast would be unbelievable. You know, we're wanting to inspire, uplift, and just basically support others and give you a right laugh, because we're a bunch of twats really, aren't we?
Yeah. And it's a story that, you know, just goes to show that to get to certain places, you have to go through a lot of ups and downs and adversity, and it's been a long journey, and I think people might relate to it. Yeah,
100%. So just a little bit of back information about us. So we currently have 3 businesses between us, and then I have a coaching business too. So tell us a bit about Privé Hair and Makeup, Henry.
So Privé Hair and Makeup is a nationwide hair and makeup agency. So we employ nearly 100 staff, partnered with 5-star hotels, corporate companies, and we deliver luxury mobile services nationwide.
So Henry's flapping constantly because it's obviously a monster of a business, and he heads up most of that one. So
I don't flap.
Totally that. It's totally that. And, you know, he's cool, calm and collected. Then behind the scenes, he's like, but yeah, you do a great job though, don't you? We then have a luxury organic hair salon, which is in South Melbourne. So we currently have 10 team members. My background's a hairdresser, and we're going to be talking more about me today. We then have Privé Education. Tell us a bit about Privé Education, Henry.
So Privé Education is monthly workshops and masterclasses for professional hair and makeup artists. We hold a class every month in Melbourne, every month in Sydney, every month in Brisbane. So it's designed primarily to upskill our workforce, but also to improve and to provide the industry with accessible, affordable education, which there is a lack of.
Yeah, we noticed a massive gap in the industry, and that's another reason why Henry's always flapping too. But
you'll notice from this podcast as it goes on that I don't flap, Jade flaps. But she portrays it on me because it will always mirror what you
he's trying to be wise and wisdom now. Yeah, all right. And then I obviously have my life coaching business. So mindset, manifestation, and new business coach, because I've got a fucking addiction to starting new businesses, obviously, and I love stress, apparently. Coupled with all of this, we have 2 challenging but wonderful young children, Harper and Hugo. Tell us in a really quick rundown, Henry, describe Hugo. He's 4, by the way.
Imagine shaking a beehive and throwing it in a bag and then letting it out in the house. That's what Hugo's like.
Oh, he is awesome though. He's, you know, I always laugh and say, I think he's fucking bipolar. He's literally one minute, he's like, Mummy, I love you. You're the best mummy in the world. And then in one Swiss swoop, he's like, I hate you. And you're a fat, smelly poo-poo head. Okay. What does he say to you? You're a big, fat, stupid daddy.
You're a stupid old man.
And you're not coming to my birthday. We're like, cool, I'm organising the party, bro. And then we've got little Harper, who is 2. She's like the devil in disguise, isn't she?
She's a little silent assassin.
Yeah, literally. So pretty, like most of the time, actually pretty good. She's not a whinger. You know, her brother can like literally boot her in the face, and she doesn't cry. But when she doesn't get away or when she loses it, she loses it. Like big time loses it. So yeah, that's an interesting little combo. But between all these things, there was obviously a whole story and journey that led us to where we are today. And what we're going to be doing is in episode 1, we're going to be talking about me, because I'm the most interesting, obviously, and about how I got here and how it happened. We're then going to be going into episode 2, where we're going to talk about Henry, and then giving you a bit of backtracking and journey, and then just going into our wild day to day, which is honestly comical. And yeah, if we had a show like Big Brother, it would honestly be top rank, because it's beyond a fucking joke what goes on day to day in our lives. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, where's the start?
So to kick off, we're going to sort of dive sort of into the beginning without going into too much of your life story, because I know you chat a lot and you can go off on tangents and then forget where you are, and then you don't know where to get back to. We're going to keep it really systemized and organized for you. So why don't you start with where you were before you came to Australia and what you were doing?
So I am a hairdresser by trade. And this is before the businesses. I worked and trained with Tony and Guy in London, which is awesome. Like, the best people to train with, not the best to work for. I did clean shit off walls once when I was an assistant, which you have. I don't know if everyone's like, what? Do hairdressers do that? But apparently they do when you're an assistant. I just wipe shit on the walls and I had to clean it. But yeah, so Australia. I then moved to London and I was working at Selfridges in the hair salon there. And I basically quit my job because I was only 21 at the time, had an amazing job, great learning experience, but it was very challenging and the staff all didn't really like me because I was a really confident go-getter, and they were like, 21-year-old coming in, like, you know, just taking over. So I then ended up just quitting and I went to volunteer in Cambodia, which you know about. So I did 3 months there, and I worked with children at an orphanage and in learning to teach basic English, which I'm still teaching Henry a little bit now. Yeah. And obviously it's great for my kids because I can teach them. But yeah, teaching basic English, it was honestly a really life-changing event. And while I was there, I really reconnected with myself and started on a bit of a spiritual journey, actually, and read a bit about the universe and, you know, all the things. And so while I was there, I realized I'm actually a really good hairdresser and I like hair and I do want to go back to hair. So I started this process. By the way, there was no fucking internet. Have you been to Cambodia? You've been to Asia though, yeah? Asia, yeah. So the internet's fucked, right? And so I'm trying to find signal and I'm like applying for Tony and Guy's in London. The signal's dropping out, this and that. And went on the website for Tony and Guy and I saw that there was an option for Australia. Had zero ambition to go to Australia, right? It's just so fucking far, expensive, like on the other end of the earth from England. It hadn't ever been a consideration for me. And I just saw it. And it actually said St Kilda, funny enough. And you know how St Kilda things are really desirable when you... The St Kilda, for those of you that aren't in Melbourne, is the most Gold Coasty Australian part of Melbourne, because Melbourne's not Australian at all. Would you agree? It's kind of like, how would you describe Melbourne?
It's like an English city with trams.
but better summers, but still shit winters. Anyway, so I apply and I'm like, they're never going to get back to me. And then immediately they did. And so I'm faced with this decision of like, do I go and just risk everything? Had no money, by the way, like nothing. I was in Cambodia 3 months, obviously spent all my saving. Or do I go back to England, but always wonder what if I'd have gone? So yeah, I basically packed my bags, got on the plane, did an interview, got the job, went back to England for 9 days, and then came back to Australia because I wanted to say goodbye and see my family.
Yeah, so a big journey. What was your biggest takeaway from what you did in volunteering?
I feel like I really learned a lot about the meaning of life and what really matters. And so when I left London, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was very down and out, and I felt like I really hate my life. I'm not happy. I was in a bit of a shitty on and off relationship at the time as well. And that's why I was just like, I just need to do something different. And I'd always wanted to volunteer. And when I got there, one of the significant comments that I remember, which I've told you about, was I said to the organizer, why do some of the children wear the same clothes every day? And he said to me, because they only have one set of clothes. And it honestly makes me emotional thinking about it now. And I was like, shit, like everything that I thought was a problem, it's actually not a problem at all. Like my life is fantastic and I'm so lucky. And so the meaning of life and people and connection and leaving a legacy behind.
And the difference is those people that have got fuck all of them are more grateful than us.
100%. Yeah. Oh, none of them complain. Yeah. None of them complain. Everyone's smiling. Kids are happy, and they're like, "Oh, fucking kid."
And then you look at everyone's moaning about fucking TV channels not working, and then we've got a biscuit.
Yeah, that's fine. Biscuit, Mommy. I'm like, mate, there's kids that have one set of clothes and eat rice every day.
Kids need to be dropped in the jungle till we go, right? Just sort of this.
I reckon we should take them to Cambodia when they're a bit older. I actually really think that's fantastic for them.
All right, so visa. Obviously, coming from the UK, both of us had a similar journey. It's hard to get here permanently. So how did that work out for you?
Wow, I was super lucky and privileged, obviously, because I'm more skilled than you are. So I actually skipped all the malarkey of visas. And that was another, like, trusting the universe, right? Like, I at that moment in time, I'd read The Secret. Those of you that have read it, amazing. And I was very much in the surrender and trusting process on this spiritual journey. And so everything came relatively easy in terms of the move to Australia. So, you know, unlike you, I got offered a job. I came on a working holiday. Super easy to do, by the way. So if any of you were like, oh, I wish I could go to Australia, fucking Google it and apply, right? Super easy. But then I literally worked, I think, 3 months, hustled, because that's just who we both are, like worked 6 days a week. I literally had no money though. It was quite stressful. Got declined for crisps and cans of Coke and stuff. But I then got sponsored. And so I didn't really go through any traumas with visas as such, but certainly, you know, the feeling of like, I literally came with $100. And so at the time I was like, oh, let's be fine. I'll just wing it. And I moved into a shared house, which was, you know, really basic. It was furnished. It was $250 a week, I think. And then I got an advance for my bond for there. And then I moved into my own flat, which is similar to what you did. And basically I slept on a mattress on the floor for like 3 months with towels for pillows that my client had given me, and the mattress was off the street. So although there were no visa issues, there was severe money. Severe. And I can't even believe I lived through that, to be honest. Can't imagine it now.
Yeah. So how would you say that journey impacted your future journey to the results that you've got now?
Yeah, I think, honestly, the gratitude and respect for our employees, obviously we have extensive employees, in supporting them in their journey, and also just respect for work ethic and people that are, you know, really trying to build something with their life, because that's now one of my greatest passions, way beyond actually doing hair, building other people's success or supporting them to build success. It really resonates with me because I feel like I want to give everyone that I possibly can the hand up that deserves it, because it's something that I really needed and I didn't get enough of on my journey.
Yeah, amazing. And if someone's listening to this who wants to come to Australia or is in Australia and wants to be sponsored, because most people that come from England, because it's a shithole, Jade loves England, but realistically, if you watch the news, it is the epitome of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, if you were to have anyone that asks a question about, how do I get sponsored? I want to stay in Australia. I don't have a job that's sponsoring, blah, blah, blah. What advice would you give, or what steps would you advise them to take?
Honestly, you just gotta move. You can procrastinate your entire fucking life contemplating the perfect time. I actually did a reel on this on my coaching page just recently, and it was about starting a business, but it's the same for pivoting direction in your life, full stop. Like, just start, get started. And so I don't recommend coming with $100 because I struggled, but I did it. And the point is, in the face of adversity, it actually sometimes drives you more, and there's never going to be the perfect time. And so if you're wanting to move overseas or make a change, open up your laptop or your phone. Everyone's got access to one. Google visa. Most places will have a working holiday visa, which is applicable for you, that's relatively cheap. You know, ideally save a bit of money, but if you don't, just move. You know, there's so many jobs. If you don't have a trade, you did hospitality, didn't you, for a little bit when you came?
Sure.
Yeah, you can get a job doing fucking anything. Just start, believe in yourself, and don't procrastinate, because that is the thing that's going to hold you back more than money or circumstance ever will.
Yeah, there's loads of options to stay here. I mean, you could get sponsored. There's student visas. You can do a partnership visa, or you can have a great pair of tits like Jade and get sponsored straight away. That's realistic why you didn't have to.
Henry's got a great pair of tits too. Do you want to see?
I think so. If you could change anything about the journey that you had, about the time that you spent here, or what you just discussed previously, if you could change anything, what would you change?
And it comes with more fucking money. I tell you what, like, obviously I'm so proud of myself. You can't regret. You can only learn. There's no mistakes. There's only lessons. But I also think that, you know, had I come, for example, with $1,000, I did suffer and struggle a lot. I couldn't actually make friends, because even though everyone in the salon was super cool, I quite literally had to say no to everything because I couldn't afford a glass of wine. And so the team would be like, hey, do you want to come up for a drink? And I'd be like, I'm actually a couple on tonight and I'm not free. And I was desperate to go out and like connect and build relationships, but I actually couldn't because I physically had no money. And so that was the kind of by choice. I have to take responsibility for that, and not being in the victim mindset. But if I could have changed anything, just being more prepared. You know, I wouldn't have changed the urgency, but if I'd have had just a little bit more flexibility, I think I would have been a lot happier. The first 6 months were really tough. I literally went to bed hungry, eating pasta and potatoes, like potatoes. It was hard.
In hindsight, though, that's probably what helped you the most.
Oh, 100%. And like, that's what I mean. I wouldn't change. I don't regret it. But if I could change anything, I feel like just being that little bit more organized. I mean, who the fuck moves to the other side of the world with £50, $100 and just wings it?
Stupid people.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you love me, isn't it?
All right, that's all my questions. That's all my questions to you. Thank you so much for letting us in on your pre-journey life story. I think it set the tone for who you are and what's shaped you to be the incredible woman that you are.
And what do you think about who I am, Henry?
It's not safe for cameras.
All right, if you could describe me in 3 words, what would they be? Stressing now, he's flapping.
No,
See, I told you he'd flap.
That's not me flapping. I'm just trying to think of what things to say that are going to be
Non-derogatory.
Non-derogatory, appropriate, clean. Obviously, you are very inspirational. You always have a high energy. So the times where I am stressed and I'm like, fuck, shit's fucking hard at the moment, you're the one that generally is like, it's going to be okay. And sometimes, ironically, now when you're stressed, I'm like, relax, it's fine. That's not going to be an issue. You know, we hold each other. I think we're like yin and yang in that sense. Whenever one of us is stressed, the other one's cool. But always the fun one. And a lot of the things that we've done, which we'll go into obviously in the future, a lot of the travel, a lot of the stupid moves we've made in terms of living in Bali for 6 months, packing up everything and moving to the UK for 6 months and just running businesses overseas. I would have been the more safe and reserved one, whereas you're the one that's like, fuck it, we'll make it work. Yeah. So that's kind of like, as much as it fucking frustrates me, it's also actually one of your strengths that you push us to do things that you would normally do. And therefore we move things further along. And of course you're very loving and kind and a great mother as well.
No, super. Yeah, no, that you actually hit the nail on the head and you managed to not offend me or say anything too nasty. So that's always a bonus. He's like, boom tonight. Or in a minute. No, you're 100% right. I am literally happy-go-lucky. And I think the great thing about me and Henry is we actually balance each other out, because before I met him, I literally...
She didn't have a penny to her name. She was fine. But
Well, I've always made really good money. I was good at hairdressing. I worked really hard. I'm always made commission, always had a good job, worked in a good salon. You know, I was a hustler from day one, but I never actually had any money. And it was just because I'd probably help people that I didn't and shouldn't need to help because I didn't have any boundaries. I was just kind of like, oh, well, I can help you, no worries. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, YOLO. I'm that person that's like, don't worry, we'll make it work. Like, I'll gamble everything on red just with the inner knowing that this is going to work. And that is a fantastic attribute, right? And it's something that you always commend me on. But Henry is, I'm the right brain, fluffy, spiritual, like creative. And Henry's the left brain, strategy, budget. And I think that's what works best about us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when we think about businesses.
This would be a conversation for a business one.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But you're right.
What if I had to describe you in 3 words? All right, let's start with this. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? Let's know. Pain in the arse.
No, because obviously you said it there. I am quite analytical, and sometimes I see it half empty rather than half full. So that's like a downside. But I also am then very realistic in certain situations too. So like my risk assessment on things is far more accurate than your risk assessment, if that makes sense.
Let me tell you. No, 100%. Mate, there is no risk for me. I'm just like, it's going to be...
But so then I would say that, you know, my drive and hunger is, I don't really know anyone that puts as much time and hour and effort into everything and extremely disciplined, which in every form of aspect of life, discipline is the most important thing, in my opinion, which again will be another conversation for another time. But I would say discipline is something that's high up there. And I'd also say that I am also a loving father and partner as well.
You are. On discipline, though, you know, it's so interesting because I actually think that discipline and motivation go hand in hand. Would you agree?
No.
Okay, this is my view, my opinion. Before we kick off, we're not going to have a fight live. But I think, you know, discipline and motivation, the way that I see it, and I always even talk to my clients about it, is if you are motivated as hell and, you know, you wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, do an incredible workout, work really hard, but then you can't stop yourself from eating all the things and, you know, can't say no and you have no discipline, doesn't matter how motivated you are, it's not going to work. And in the same turn, if, you know, you eat all the right things, but you can't be motivated to actually get up and progress and be the best person, you're not going to achieve as much or be necessarily where you want to be. What were your thoughts on that?
You're not motivated all the time. No one ever is. So
you're not disciplined all the time either.
Well, no, but that's why discipline's the most important thing. And if you're not motivated, and no one can be motivated all the time. No one wakes up in the morning at 5 and goes, "Oh, I can't wait to go and have a train, get in an ice bath." No, but if
you did,
yeah, but if you did, but I do. But if you do it anyway, if you're disciplined, and no matter how you feel, whether you're motivated or not motivated, discipline is what gets doing the things every single day. So if you know what you have to do, regardless of whether you're happy, sad, motivated or unmotivated, you just have to do it. And that's why discipline overrides motivation every single time.
Okay.
Let's finish on that bombshell.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure. It's been 23 minutes, 54 seconds of our first podcast. There we go.
Thank you so much, everyone. And tune in for episode 2 where you'll hear a little bit about Henry. It's obviously nowhere near endearing or interesting, but we're going to hear it anyway. Chat soon, guys. Thanks for listening.
And hopefully laughing. Be sure to leave us a review. And if you're into the madness,
check out the links below to follow our day-to-day journey.
Stay tuned for the next episode.